When you turn your attention towards security for a network or a computer system, there's going to be different levels of security. And so in this video, I want to talk about the physical security aspects that you need to be familiar with and you need to be ready to agree to and understand on the A+ exam. And so let's just kind of kick this off. Now, security is a really big topic, and there's a lot of aspects that should be considered. For many years, everybody looked for the one silver bullet with security. They wanted to spend a few $1,000s for one black box that would protect everything. They wanted to press one button and lock everything down, all those sorts of things. And it just simply doesn't work that way. So let's talk about physical security here and some of the things that you may see on the A+ exam. Most of these, quite honestly, are common sense, but there's a couple of them that they could kind of slide in on you, and I'll point those out. Now, your physical security plan is the foundation for any security plan. And the bottom line is you want to block access to physical hardware from people who do not need that physical hardware or who would attempt to do harm or steal data if they had that access. We don't know who those people are, so we're going to block any access to physical hardware from people who do not have a need to access that for some business process at our organization. This can be accomplished in a number of ways. First of all your servers, your network devices, all those sorts of things should be behind locked doors. Access to these devices should be strictly limited, even to the administrators. Most administration nowadays is handled remotely. We can run a lot of the administration tools remotely, and so we don't need to be in physical proximity to the actual physical servers and network equipment, and that's the way it should be. I don't know how many times I've seen situations where hackers were able to wander into server rooms, stick a thumb drive in and steal data, stick a thumb drive in and infect a machine. Maintenance people for other things have accidentally dropped things, spilled things, unplugged things. All that's possible. Now, the building and area access should be controlled with some sort of system access cards, ID cards, physical security personnel, whatever. But you want to limit who's in there around your physical hardware. Computers should never be left logged in and unattended. The Win key with +L will lock the system instantly. Hold down the Windows key and press the L character. Notice it locked my computer, and I'll have to log back in to get back to where I was. So anytime you're leaving your desk, you're leaving your computer unattended, the Win +L key, capital L, will instantly lock the system, and you'll have to use a password. This works, by the way, in all versions of Windows. Now, obviously, passwords should never, ever be written down. Sensitive documents should be locked up, and they should also be shredded when they're no longer needed. Then, something else that the A+ exam mentions almost every time, and that is the use of privacy filters. I don't know if you've seen these things. Sometimes they're little screens that clip onto the monitor. Sometimes they're these little self-stick type plastic things that use static electricity to hold themselves against the monitor. But you can use these, and you can also see them for your smartphones, where they prevent people from looking over your shoulder and watching you type passwords, reading stuff off your screen, and that's called shoulder surfing. Standing behind someone and looking over their shoulder and watching what they're doing. With these privacy filters, the screen is unreadable. It just looks black unless you are directly in front of it. It really just kind of restricts the angle of viewing for that screen so that you have to be looking right directly at it in front of it physically to be able to read what's going on. Now, the one you really need to watch for on the exam is an environmental threat. Now, this is a very serious physical security threat. I've seen this take entire server rooms down with clients before. We're talking about dirty air. The temperature of the server room, humidity in the building. I've had situations where clients working on construction projects and they're sanding drywall and all that sort of stuff, but they're doing it at night, right? Everybody's out of the building. Who's going to be hurt by this? Well, guess what? That air got into the server room. All that dust got in there. It clogs the vents and the filters on your servers. And guess what? They start to overheat. They start to go down. It creates problems. This can also be used to launch an attack on someone as well. Temperature and humidity, we want to make sure all of our ventilation is open and unobstructed. You get a big shipment of boxes or stuff in, the people down the hall get all new desks and chairs, and they come in boxes. If they stack them in the server room and they cover up the vents that are dispersing air conditioner, guess what? You're going to have a temperature and or humidity issue. Normally, you want to keep a room with computers somewhere around 72 degrees, 30 to 40%. When you get outside those, you can start to see intermittent restarts and so forth as the computer equipment starts to overheat. So watch for environmental threats. On the A+ exam, you'll probably see a question or two about that.